we formed 5 Gotrons. And those Gotrons formed the Go-Gotron.
Go-Gotron! Awesome.
Monster at that time in our universe, you never had a chance.
What?
Curb stomped it.
Well, the music is so good this year. I mean, it's always
little
good.
legs.
Oh my god.
Oh, I love it. Welcome back to New Rockstars, Rick and Morty Season 5, Episode 7, Gotron, Jerry Sis, Rick Vangelion, the Voltron episode we've been waiting for, seeks to redeem Episode 4's giant incest baby while exploring Rick's weird but totally understandable obsession with Gundam stacking, or Voltron stacking, whatever you want to call it. But really, what numerical-based secret could be driving Rick here? Wait, math? Just enjoy the episode, dipshit. What the This is Ricksplained, our Rick and Morty after show where we obsess over robot exponents to give you your hot takes. I'm Erik Voss. My Easter egg breakdown of all the details you missed is coming out tomorrow, but here I'm with little Ricky. Wrap it up to my hothead Rick, Tommy Bechtold.
Oppa! Yes, oh my god. Combining Voltron or whatever, any of those shows with Goodfellas, I felt like this was for me. So I feel like someone made this for me.
Best of both worlds. Yeah. I mean, this is one of my favorite episodes of like all time. Top 5 at least. Favorite of this season. Yeah. I was able to see this episode early. I've been dying to talk about it because it's so much fun.
So good.
Well, Tommy, break down what happened in this episode.
It would be my absolute pleasure. Okay, well, Rick diverts a trip to Boob World, tragically, to complete his collection of ferret Gotrons, which he ropes the family into piloting just so he can stack them in the style of Voltron or Power Rangers and fight giant insect monsters. Rick gets greedy and assembles families from alternate timelines in his growing Gotron operation, which is all getting co-narrated by Morty and Summer in the style of gangster films like Goodfellas or The Godfather. And oh my god, just so much good stuff about not knowing when to stop and getting too big. And he even says too big to fail at one point.
Right, yeah, we're too big to fail.
Which is great famous last words. So, obviously everything goes awry. Rick ends up firing the original family and replacing them with rival anime Gotron pilots, who of course plan to sabotage and oust Rick. So Summer and the others save him using her giant incest baby from episode 4 named Naruto.
Yeah, I love that.
And in one of my favorite post-credit scenes of all time, the insect monsters are revealed to be well-meaning, misunderstood beings just trying to communicate the cure for AIDS.
I know.
What the hell? I feel like we need to do another what the f***.
Yeah, I know, just for that. I mean, a pinch of sea salt, right? Like 2 parts lemon juice.
So good.
It's like, don't cut them off, keep going. We're so close.
I know.
This is stuff we all have in our kitchens.
There's no way once you cross through this void, you'll just become a giant screaming alien with no clothes.
Naked to them. They're naked.
Or maybe you will. We don't know.
There's no way of knowing. But that's classic. That's so great. Now, we're going to dig deeper into Rick's obsession with his Gotron stacking. But first, of course, if you want to help us make more great content, New Rockstars, one of the best ways you can support us is go check out our merch at newrockstarsmerch.com. We got some Black Widow-inspired designs in the shop, including our latest possession, the Red Deep design, and some fun Russian nesting doll designs. Support this channel and get yourself some cool swag by going to newrockstarsmerch.com. Tommy, what's our big question?
All right, so what's the real secret behind Rick's Gotron stacking obsession?
Yeah, for those of us who grew up with Voltron and Power Rangers, we all innately get Rick's obsession with just combining one cool robot with another cool robot into one bigger, awesomer robot, and then stacking that robot with other stacks to create a huge or awesome assembly of robots. It's just a crazy, infinite obsession that we all have. That also, you could argue, explains the combining the Avengers with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and they all combine now. Now they fight Thanos, and it's just insane. It's just toys. It's just toys.
It's all just toys, and it's a lot like even in Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball GT, where it's like, well, we had him go Saiyan. Now he's got to go Super Saiyan. Now he's got to fuse, and then they go Super Saiyan. Now they can explode planets. You just heighten and heighten and heighten and heighten and heighten and heighten. to sell more toys.
Right. Digimon, Pokemon, they do the same thing, right? Like, you gotta collect them all. You have to have them, they're little toys, and then you can also buy physical versions of this when you go to KB Toys. That's right. But for Rick, this isn't just a childish fantasy. It is largely a childish fantasy, but you can also think of this as Rick's idealized vision for a way to connect with his family. Like in earlier seasons, this show was clearly about the power of two, Rick times Morty. And that was because Morty emitted inverse brainwaves that canceled out Rick's brainwaves so that he could stay hidden from other Ricks. But now Rick has been more fixated on what I call the power of five, finding ways to keep all 5 Smith family members together, doing something that he considers worthwhile without any need of a B-plot that separates them. Remember, he snapped at Jerry about this in the Decoys episode. He's like, no, we're not going to split off into a B-plot. That's stupid. Let's just stay together. And then they did stay together, and that led to this wonderful Decoys insanity that is similar to this episode structurally. And with Gotron, Rick finally has his perfect answer to this, because all 5 family members are linked together. They're working in tandem. They're doing something awesome, each feeling valued. And he loves this so much, he gets greedy. He grows it exponentially. He brings up the 5 families, taken from Godfather. He squares it to form the Gotron, which is 25 total robots, and then drunkenly cubes it to form the Gotron, which would be a total of 125 total robots. And then the writers cleverly include this little moment when Rick is drunk alone in his office and reveals his ultimate vision, which is never fully realized, thank God, in this episode. He says, and then the Gotrons make the Gotrons, make the Gotrons, make the Gotrons. Yeah, he's clearly working his way up to 5 to the power of 5, which would be 3,125 total robots, and in Rick's drunken delusion, 5-dimensional perfection. But the reason it falls apart is that Rick's family members are not him, obviously. They ultimately don't think like he does, and thank God, because when he replaces them with people who do love Gotrons as much as he does, they turn on him, try to kill him, and then only Rick's family members care enough about him to not let him die, because the power of numerical harmony and crystalline order are no match for the power of family, even when that salvation comes from bloodline incest.
God. Oh my God.
I mean, what did you think about this episode?
I think you're right. I also think that there is a simple, that explanation is, I think, the correct, kind of intellectual argument. I also think the simple answer is this is modeled after a sitcom where the main character has a thing they want to do, it gets out of control, and the way you reset back to normal is the supporting characters eventually come and save the day. Saved by the Bell. Every time Zach Morris had a crazy scheme, eventually Lisa and Screech, who were like the more play it safe people, came in and saved the day. So, I mean, to me, the math stuff is all fascinating and correct, widely correct. But I think there's also just this, I think the writers had a little fun with just classic kind of sitcom structure with this a little bit of well, we've gone way off the rails, and the only way this goes back to being the show that everybody knows and loves, and not just everyone dead by the hands of anime characters, is at the end, the most powerful message of all: your family will never leave you, especially if they're a 20-story tall baby that is the product of a brother and sister artificially inseminating to save the world.
What a dark, disgusting solution, but it works. It works logically. Yeah. You were comparing this to classic sitcom. I think this is like classic American film. Yeah. Right? The classic American story is entrepreneurial character discovers some kind of magic tonic that changes everything, and then gets a bit of success, gets greedy, tries to horizontally expand his operation, flies too close to the sun, gets burned, collapses to Earth, and who's there to catch him? The most unappreciated person in his life, but the people who stuck by him. Yes. And that's the story of Citizen Kane. That's the story of Goodfellas. Most of these gangster films. That's the story of movies like American Hustle. That's the story of, what's the McConaughey, Jared Leto movie?
Dallas Buyers Club?
Dallas Buyers Club. Yeah. These movies take so many different forms and different genres, and it's because that is like the American mythology.
I mean, it's literally the story of that Envy movie with Jack Black and Ben Stiller.
Yeah. It's the same kind of story there. You see it in comedy, tragedies, rom-coms, everywhere. And it reminds me a lot of that, of the chicken Fingers episode of Community. It's the same thing. That was the Goodfellas episode.
Yeah.
And that was the episode of Community where I was like, oh, this show's even better than I thought it was. Like, that was the pivot point. And I love that this episode kind of brought back the same kind of influences. You see the same kind of thing. But instead of chicken fingers, it's Gotrons.
Yeah. And just
it works.
Really briefly, at the beginning, I was wondering if they recorded new audio or VO to address the backlash of the incest baby episode. I was like, did they? Because I'm like, in animation, I think I've said before, like I used to work at Family Guy in a non-creative capacity. Don't go crazy. In a legal department almost, but they would record pretty close to the air. I mean, they had jokes about Seth MacFarlane hosting the Oscars, how he did hosting the Oscars 2 weeks afterwards. So it was like they put that joke in. They went in an emergency re-recorded. So at first I was like, I mean, these are essentially the mouth movements are not. They don't really match the words that are. You just your brain tricks yourself into thinking the characters' mouths are moving in the correct way. I was like, did they re-record all of this just to address this controversy? And I think the even more diabolical thing is that the staff knew that episode was going to push people the wrong way.
Right. I mean, I think you're right. I mean, they animated the giant incest baby. This is part of the storyboard
for sure.
So they must have planned it this way. At the very least, my conspiracy brain is thinking, was this episode intentionally leaked early because of the backlash? Like they wanted to show fans, they're like, no, we're going to bring back giant incest baby. We didn't just do it as a gross throwaway gag. It's going to have some kind of creepy role to play in the future. But like, I think the writers must have been aware that when they introduced Giant Incest Baby, that it was gonna have a reaction. But I think you're right. I think it is possible. I mean, animated shows do ADR lines that they throw in last minute. I mean, South Park especially is a show where they do it in 6 days, you know, and they throw in stuff minute. For sure. The animation, though, takes a bit longer. But we do actually want to talk more about this old giant incest baby's return and whether it was worth it. But first, we want to thank some people who helped us make this episode. This summer, Bespoke Post is here to take your adventures to the next level with a new lineup of must-have Box of Awesome collections. Bespoke Post partners with small businesses and emerging brands to bring you the most unique goods every month. In the past, I've gotten some great shirts, camping gear, some cool stuff for the kitchen from Bespoke Post. No matter what you're into, Box of Awesome has you covered, from travel and outdoor gear to breezy summer styles and grooming goods. Box of Awesome has collections for every part of your life. They got a few new boxes built around coffee that look cool, including the appropriately named Turbo Box. To get started, take the quiz at boxofawesome.com. Your answers will help them pick the right box of awesome for you. They release new boxes every month across a ton of different categories. It's free to sign up and you can skip a month or cancel anytime. Each box costs only $45, but has over $70 worth of gear inside. Get 20% off your first monthly box when you sign up at boxofawesome.com and enter the code Ricksplained at checkout. That's boxofawesome.com, code Ricksplained for 20% off your first box. Also, thanks to Helix Sleep for sponsoring this episode. If you don't want to sleep on a mattress what's that?
I like you doing these all in characters.
Yeah. You don't want to sleep on a mattress designed for someone else, even if that other person is a Darkest Timeline version of yourself. They probably like a super firm mattress and always sleep on the side of their body without the eye patch. Well, Helix Sleep has a quiz that matches your body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. They have soft, medium, and firm mattresses. Mattresses great for cooling you down if you sleep hot, and even a Helix Plus mattress for plus-size sleepers. I have a Helix mattress and I love it! The quiz matched me with a medium firm mattress with lumbar support, and it sleeps cool. That's right, I'm sleeping like I'm living. Cool! The mattress ships right to your door for free. No need to go to a mattress store. Just go to helixsleep.com/Ricksplained. Take their 2-minute sleep quiz and they'll match you to a customized mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life. Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/Ricksplained. This show is also sponsored by BetterHelp. Is there something interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals? We've all been there at some point. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. Start communicating in under 48 hours. It's not a crisis line or self-help. It is professional counseling done securely online. There is a broad range of expertise available for clients worldwide. Log into your account anytime and send a message to your counselor. You won't ever have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room or look for parking. BetterHelp makes it easy and free to change counselors if you need to. It's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today. Visit betterhelp.com/Ricksplained. That's better, H-E-L-P. And join the over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they are recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. Special offer for Ricksplained audience. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/Ricksplained. All right, Tommy, back to the episode. Do you think the introduction of the incest baby back in episode 4 now feels creatively justified?
Erik, I'm not there yet. I think it feels much more justified. I feel creatively, I mean, I'm gonna just not be a little whiny baby boy and say, yes, I do. I think they did a good job. I think that was good. I'm still really skeeved out by that earlier episode. More so than maybe I should be. Maybe there's a deeper, I need to go to get some better help and figure out why that viscerally bothered me so much. Yeah, I'll say they did it. I'll say I'm impressed. That's all. I guess I'll say I love this episode, as did you. But that part is still, to me, it's never gonna feel quite right. I don't think. Just like incest, it'll never feel quite right.
Yeah, I'm just happy that they had a plan. It didn't bother me that much back in episode 4.
Yeah.
But the fact that they had a future in mind for this character, and that you could argue it is thematically justified by the power of family. It's just family times family and virgin family. It's kind of like a gross, extreme, delusional version of trusting family too much, and that we only trust our own bloodline, the way like ancient royal families would force their kids to have incest so that they could keep the bloodline pure. That's probably an extreme take on it, but hey, I thought it was super fun. And I loved seeing this thing being deployed as a weapon and being named Naruto. But I guess, is there an alternative that they could have still stuck with that theme of just having like a Morty clone or a giant Morty or Summer clone in that moment of all the sperm, and then it's just some other random egg that didn't have to be Summer's egg? I guess for Summer to be connected to it, it needed to be her egg.
Yeah, I think it's necessary. It's still gross to me. It's funny. Yeah. I like it. It's okay. I'm all right. I'm coming around on it. I love it.
I think for many of us, like, that line was crossed when Mr. Jellybean / King Jellybean assaulted Morty. And at that point, everything since then, it's just been like, all right, this is the show.
Yeah.
Like, this is what we signed up for.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. But I wanted to ask you about the voiceovarians. I love this twist so much.
Me too.
But there was this little wrinkle to it where, so obviously the voiceovarians can talk to each other, but Morty was aware of this voiceover phenomenon happening in his head. Summer's body was not aware of it. And they had that little moment where Morty's like, well, then what's the difference? And then Summer's voiceovarian was like, I don't know, telepathy.
Yeah.
But like, why do you think Morty's mind and body was aware of his voiceovarian, whereas Summer's mind and body was not? Do you think that tells us something about the two of their characters?
My interpretation of it was just that Morty has seen so much more of the universe and interdimensional existence. He's aware of so many more strange things. I mean, Summer is becoming more aware, but like he's just had so much more time with Rick that like he's not thrown, and he can probably conclude, if I'm suddenly having voiceovers, it's these things. He might just be aware of what voiceovarians are, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, maybe that's like an existing species that he's come across before.
Right.
I'm wondering if, like, remember in Total Recall, Morty was the one to unlock the secret of the virus, right?
Oh, yeah,
It was implanting false positive memories. And without Morty's realization, they would have been doomed. So I think you're right. I think Morty has experienced so much that has kind of like reprogrammed his brain to be more skeptical and to be aware when foreign influences may be affecting him. Like he knows that there was a Morty's Mind Blower episode in season 3, right? Where where Rick has basically gaslit and brainwashed him to forget about certain things that are too harmful for him. So I think Morty is just more acutely aware of his own brain, and he's even so aware that he says Summer's smarter than he is. While Morty may have some mental gaps, I think he has like very acute self-awareness that he wasn't sure what this thing was, but he knew that it was separate from himself, and it was weird that Summer wasn't aware of it. I just like that little characterization.
Me too.
Detail.
I thought that was a neat little detail. I thought that was cool.
And it just shows that like these writers are aware of how Morty is evolving over time. He has high emotional intelligence. But I also like how there's that moment where he's in the back of the car and the three anime characters, they're like, fine, we can kill you. And the way he rage snaps when someone threatens his life, you can just see him like let go of all fear in that moment and just be like, do it. And he goes crazy and he's like willing to let them die. He gets the driver's shot. He rolls out of the car. Like, it's like the lighthouse moment in the Purge episode or in Planetina, how like one of the Planeteers.
The boardroom,
Yeah, Tina Tears, and he just snaps. He's like, do it! And he bites the guy's finger off. Like, I love seeing Morty go to that place. It's just such a fun way to show how dark and how messed up the character is.
Absolutely. And just how deep he really can go. Because it would be very easy to make him consistently just Morty. You know what I mean? Like, where he's like kind of a pushover and kind of just trying to... He's an awkward teenage boy. But instead, they've now added, as the show goes on, these like deep emotional chasms that he can go through, swinging back and forth. So he's like becoming. I mean, the show is always so delightful. Every character is fun to watch in different ways. But like Morty is still the beating heart of the show, and seeing his emotional depths is something that like. You know, the laughs will always keep us entertained. I'll always come back to see what weird concept they blow up each week. But, like, I'm attached emotionally to Morty now. While he is a little pervert and a little weirdo, like, he does go to these dark places that, like, I mean, I remember being a teenager. Yeah, you do go to these dark places and you don't really understand them. And Morty is not a typical teenager. He's seen horrible things that have traumatized him. So like just multiplying those factors is really fun to just see where they go with him. But I want to ask you, so there's this, moment where Morty admits that Summer is smarter than him, and Summer confessed that she always feels like the odd one out in the family, that, Jerry and Beth have their pairing, Rick and Morty always have their pairing, and Summer, she's been kind of leaned on this season by Rick as a new Morty character, and that's created this rivalry between the siblings. But do you think a Rick and Summer pairing is more interesting to watch than a Rick and Morty pairing? Because Rick and Summer have a similar intellectual nihilism that's kind of terrifying in a way. What are you thinking about seeing Rick and Summer? Could the show be Rick and Summer? Not for me. I think the Summer is too cool.
Right.
I think,
but in a way that Rick is too cool.
Well, right.
Like, I think they have that in common.
No, I agree, and I like using her more. I mean, I would say the three of them is more interesting to me than any combination of the two of them, because you get more. They're making Summer much more three-dimensional as a character. We're finding out more things, and I mean, some of it is not pleasant. Some of it is, she's kind of a nihilist, doesn't give a flying F about anything. No, I think Rick and Morty is the heart of the show, but I like Rick, Morty plus Summer. I want that, more of that.
I one thing I've seen with Summer, but I've realized they're doing this all with all the characters, is as they put them in these new scenarios and explore new depths of their personalities, they still do kind of have their character game of like what they go back to, what's their comfort zone of things that they say. And they're all kind of vapid in different ways, and that they all are just like regurgitating like shit takes that they read on Reddit or Twitter or whatever their social media is. For Jerry, it might even starting to be like Parler.
Yeah.
Like Jerry says, oh, makes you wonder what they're doing with our tax dollars, or I'm going to the chiropractor, I wonder what's doing to my prostate. Summer quotes like what she thinks is making her sound woke, but she clearly doesn't understand the historical significance of what she's saying. Right. Rick is like classic edgelord, and he's one step away from saying we live in a world sincerely. And then Morty is just like, he goes back to his simple teen anxieties.
Yeah. Morty's like the out of control TikTok teenager that's just like, like 1 minute he's like doing a dance, the next minute he's like trying to butt chug a Mountain Dew. Like it's just all stupid but fun.
Yeah. So if Rick is Reddit, Morty is TikTok, or is Summer TikTok?
Summer might be more TikTok.
Yeah, Summer's also kind of Twitter a little bit, Yeah. Jerry is either Facebook or Parler. Yeah. What would Beth be? What social media is Beth?
Beth is Pinterest.
I was about to say, maybe Pinterest. Yeah.
Yeah, or I'm trying to think of like, what's one that like they've tried to get off the ground, but it just like, there's always those things where they're like, the new thing is Grabble. If you're not on Grabble, you can post video and pictures and text. It's like, yes, that's what all social media is now.
Yeah, Beth is either not on social media at all, or Beth is like on Bumble.
Yeah.
Just might be married to Jerry. She's on Bumble.
Yeah. Beth is on what was it? Ashley Madison, the dating app designed to have affairs.
I think we nailed it. So we'll leave it there for this episode of Ricksplained. It's always a pleasure, Tommy.
Yes.
I love watching the show with you.
Same.
So my Easter egg breakdown of all the little details you missed in this episode is going to come out tomorrow. Tommy and I will be back next week to react to episode 8. We were able to get this one early because the episode came out a bit early, but next week we'll be back to our normal schedule. Follow Tommy at Tommy Bechtold. Follow me at EA Voss. Follow New Rockstars, of course. Subscribe to Ricksplained wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for watching, and we'll close out with our favorite moment of the episode.
My clothes. Where'd they go?